Hello everyone. Today we're going to check more future tenses. Okay, I am going to put the link of the first part of this here on the corner. So remember, watch that other video if you need to. Today we're going to check future tenses and we're going to talk about modal-like phrases. Okay, what is that? Well, we're going to see in a moment. First of all, remember what we saw in the previous lesson. We saw all of these different ways to talk about the future. But today we're going to concentrate on these two. Okay, first of all, let's remember that we use will for two situations. We can use will for instant decisions we make in the moment, or for predictions with some certainty. Okay? Example, come to my party this weekend. Okay, I will go. That's an instant decision. It will rain. That's a prediction, and you are kind of certain, not necessarily with evidence, but you are certain of your answer. Remember that you can use also other modals, okay? Will is a modal verb, but you can use other modals for future. What's the difference? When you say, when you use will for predictions, you express certainty. You are sure of your answer, even if you don't have evidence, but you're sure. But if you say made, might, or could, in these cases you are expressing a prediction, but this is just a possibility for the future. Okay, that's the difference. In this case you're certain, you're sure. In this case it's just a possibility for the future. And we also need to remember be going to. Okay, we use be going to talk about the future plans. For example, I have tickets. I am going to go to a concert. You see, I am going to go to a concert. The structure is be going to and the verb in base form. And this is for plans. Okay, now let's continue with the new thing. Okay, we're going to check today abilities and obligation in the future. So first of all, let's remember how to use these different structures. Okay, for example, if you want to talk about abilities, you can use the modal can. Okay, for example, Liliana can drive a car. That's something you can do, that she has the ability in this moment. Okay, she has that ability in this moment. The structure is the modal verb can and the verb in base form. Okay, this is a modal. But what is the modal-like expression that is equivalent to can? The equivalent is be able to. Okay, so it's the same to if you want to say can and if you want to say be able to, both are the same. Okay, both are the same. Although it's more common to say can in present. Okay, it's more common to say can in present. But be able to is also perfectly fine. Okay, so don't worry about that. The two are equivalents. Now, this is in present, but what happens if I want to say something in future? Well, I can't use can and another modal verb in the future. Okay, that's an important rule for modal verbs. You can use, if you want, you can use will, you can use can, you can use should, you can use may, but you can only use one. You cannot use two at the same time. So maybe you want to say, oh, Liliana will can? No, that's incorrect. Okay, you can only use one modal, verb at the time. So I can't use can. I have to use the equivalent of can. The equivalent of can is be able to. So Liliana will be able to drive a car in the future. That's correct. Okay, and remember, that's not the only modal verb you can use. You can use all the other modal verbs. May, might, or could be able to drive a car. And you can also use be going to. Okay, Liliana is going to be able to drive a car. It's okay. Although this is, as you see, this verb is very long, but it's grammatically correct. Okay, it depends on what you want to say. If it's a prediction or if it's a plan. Okay, maybe she is studying in this moment in an academy, so she is going to be able to drive a car in the future. Maybe this is just a random prediction because she's a baby and you're saying, well, in the future she will be able to drive a car. Both situations are logical and they are both possible. And finally, let's check obligation. Normally when we talk about obligation, we are going to use the modal verb must. Okay? For example, Liliana must drive a car. That's her obligation. She must. That's okay, but as you remember, you have an equivalent for must. The equivalent for must is have to or need to. They also express obligation. Okay? And yeah, there are some differences, but you can check that in a different video. Now, this is in present, okay? Liliana has to drive a car. As you see, in this case, I am not putting just have, because this you have to have subject and verb agreement. Okay, Liliana has to drive a car. That's an important thing there. But in future, similar to the previous situation, you cannot use two modal verbs at the same time. Okay, you cannot say Liliana will must. No, that's impossible. Okay, so remember, you cannot use the modal verbs must or can in future, but you can use the equivalents in future. And the same way as the previous case, Liliana will have to drive a car. That will be her obligation in the future. Okay, so you have the modal and have to or need to and the verb in base form. And you remember, you can also use the other modal verbs. You can say may, might, or could, or will for predictions. Okay, Liliana may, might, or could need to drive a car. Liliana will have to drive a car, will need to drive a car. Both of them are equivalent. And as previously stated, the same situation happens with be going to. You can also use be going to with these modal-like expressions. Okay, have to or need to, and remember, after that you have to use the verb in base form. So you see, that's easy. Remember, never use the two modal verbs at the same time. You cannot say must can, or must will, or will may. No, that's impossible. Don't combine modal verbs. Okay, don't combine modal verbs. You use one, or you use the other. Don't use two in the same sentence. Okay, and remember, we have these different structures we can use. The uses are the same. You use will for predictions or for instant decisions, and you use the other modals for possibility and the be going to structure for plans. Okay, that doesn't break in these cases. You have the same thing. Okay, you have the same thing. Predictions, plans. Predictions and plans. Okay, so that's it for this part. Please remember to give a like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to wash your hands and stay safe out there. Okay, see ya. That's it for now. Bye bye.